Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. On this channel I make mental health related content, mainly focused on ADHD and OCD, so if you want more of that, subscribe. Today I'm going to give you guys 5 tips.
Oh, you can see my eczema.
5 tips.
I feel weird doing it with that hand.
5 tips that will help you navigate this world when you have ADHD. Tip number 1 is give yourself less to do. I know that I have always felt this need to get this done. I always feel like I'm running out of time and I always feel like I need to accomplish loads of things. I don't know if that's an ADHD thing or maybe that's just a me thing. Let me know in the comments if you feel the same. I don't have very good strategies when it comes to, to-do lists and getting things done. And so I will write so many things on a list and try and get them all done. Don't do that. Give yourself less to do. So if you're used to making a list of, 10, 20 things, even 5 things, if you're not achieving that, there's no point in giving yourself the same list the next day and getting frustrated at yourself. Most of us with ADHD are perfectionists, so not getting that list done can be painful, so painful and annoying, and it can make you angry. Certainly makes me angry. So I suggest you cut down on your tasks. Think about what you really, really want to achieve that day. If you have to do 2 things because you'll get them done, just do 2 things so that by the end of the day, you've got those 2 things done. And if you've got spare time, you can do even more. Now that feels much more relaxing and that feels much more rewarding because you've accomplished your to-do list. So yes, that was tip number 1. Give yourself less to do. Number 2, change your response to mess. How do you feel when there's mess around, when, your room's messy, your house is messy? My usual response to mess up until recently has been anger and shame and guilt. Frustration and overwhelm that I can't keep my shit together like I should be keeping it together. I should be able to live my life and also keep my house clean. Why is it so hard? You have to remember that ADHD impairs our executive functioning skills. This is literally because of the difference in our brain. Literally because of the ADHD, so cut yourself some slack. You cannot compare yourself to neurotypicals around you because they can do it, I should be able to do it. Your executive functioning skills include things such as working memory, planning, organizing, regulating your emotions. All of those things are harder for someone to manage with ADHD. So if you feel shame and guilt when there's mess around you, and it's also understandable if you feel overwhelmed, because I definitely do, you need to remember that your brain works in a different way and it's okay to adjust to it. This might be, controversial what I say now, but it's okay to allow yourself to live in mess sometimes, okay? It's okay if you don't clean your room for a couple of days. It's okay if you haven't cleaned your room for a week, because if you struggle with that and that's your situation, then that's your situation. Don't compare yourself to neurotypicals around you. I'll repeat it again. Find things that actually help you. If you need to clean your room, over a period of a few days, that's okay. Some people can get it done in one day, some people can get it done in half an hour, and if you can't, that's fine. If it's playing a video in the background while doing your stuff, a really great video actually that I watch when I clean is this. There are some videos like that on YouTube which I find helpful, and Peach actually explains in her video that having someone there with you while you do stuff is called body doubling and is actually a very helpful thing for people with ADHD. Number 3, put important objects where you can see them. So if you've gone on a food shop, put the food somewhere where you can see it. Don't hide it away. Personally, I struggle with poor object permanence. If I put something in the back of a cupboard or just somewhere where I don't usually look, I will literally forget that it's there. And if it's food, it will rot. And if it's an item, I will forget I bought it and I'll go out and buy it again, only to find it a year later. Also put important things that you need in sight, like your keys. If you have a little key holder, put it in a key holder on your desk where you can see it. Just little things like that will definitely help help you out and help you lose things less. And if you do have something like a little key holder, make sure to always put the key back there. Try to not let yourself off the hook and say, oh no, this time I'm just gonna put it here for a bit, it's fine, because you'll probably forget. So if you struggle with this tip is probably gonna help you save money by not buying things you already have. And also it will save you spending time looking for things. Number 4, what was that? Number 4, don't ignore the fact that you have ADHD. A lot of the time it can feel like the things we struggle with, everyone struggles with, like organization and trouble sleeping. Just because these are things that people struggle with does not mean that you should compare yourself to neurotypicals, like I said earlier. The difference between, a neurotypical that is sometimes forgetful or struggles to keep organized and someone with ADHD is the severity of these symptoms and the prevalence of them. With ADHD, it's a chronic difficulty because your brain is not releasing the hormones it needs to be releasing in order for you to function like a regular neurotypical person. So yeah, someone may be going through a hard time and, find it hard to sleep or find it hard to organize themselves. But, for someone with ADHD, this is ongoing, lifelong struggle with these things, or struggle to improve these things. You think in a completely different way. So many aspects of your life and the way you think are affected by ADHD. Just because you see other people struggle with things that you do doesn't mean that if you see them doing well the next week, you need to get worried and be like, oh my god, wait, why am I not back on my A game? Why am I not doing well now? Acknowledge the things that you struggle with so that you can adjust your life to fit you. You're lacking that dopamine, so do things that will increase that, like more exercise, more going out and doing things, going on adventures. Give yourself rests if you feel overwhelmed by, things and social situations. Let yourself rest. Just listen to your body. Tip number 5. Reap the benefits. Having ADHD is not all bad, and actually having ADHD is not bad at all. It may feel really hard for some of us to navigate this world, but sometimes it's okay to forget about society's expectations. We don't necessarily have to follow what society said. We don't have to follow anything. Just because someone decided one day this is how it should be, and you need to go to school and you need to work and you need to do this and that. If you can find alternative ways, and if you can find things that make you happy and lead a more stress-free life, then do it. There are lots of great things about having ADHD. People with ADHD are creative, so creative. The H in ADHD doesn't only mean hyperactivity in the body, it also means hyperactivity in here. That's why we have racing thoughts, that's why we have so much to say, that's why we have, just a lot of thoughts. So we can come up with ideas. We are very good in a crisis. We can think fast, think on the spot. We can also hyper focus. If we're doing something that we love, we can do it forever. We don't need to pee, we don't need to eat, we don't need no sleep, okay? Although, we have to remember those things. If you think you're hyper focusing on the wrong things, like scrolling through social media for hours and hours on end, maybe days, then find your passion. Find something that you like, that you would just study or do, even without someone asking you to do it. Just find a passion, because I find myself, I get very obsessed with things, and I'll give you an example. So I was a little bit obsessed with the Spice Girls, mainly Melanie and Jerry. I know a collection of facts about them that, I don't know if I'll ever use, but I know a lot about them, and I know pretty much all of their interviews. If you play Spice Girls interviews, I will probably just sit there and mime along. And I can also watch them over and over and be entertained every time. See, that's like me focusing on something that's like not necessarily so useful, but I'm also very interested in mental health and psychology, and I could research it forever because I'm just so interested in it, and I could learn so much information in just a short amount of time if I'm really interested in something. What else? We're adventurous, we're spontaneous, although we have to remember with these things to, you know, think before we do things and just take a breather, because we are also more prone to accidents because of the because of the impulsivity and just you know, wanting to do things without thinking. We are also very enthusiastic. We just have, I think people with ADHD have good energy. A lot of us are funny because of our quick thinking. We're highly empathetic people. Some of us may not be very good listeners, but with practice we can become really good listeners. Okay, so those were my 5 tips. I really hope that helped you, and let me know in the comments if you relate or if any of the tips have made you think, oh my god, yes, or helped you in any way. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you want more content like this. Like this video because it really helps me in the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.